Good morning, dear. How's it going? Good morning, everybody.
Oh, I forgot what Marissa said.
You're okay. Good morning. Good morning. How's it going? Can you believe it's our last sales meeting for 2025? Where did the time go? Thank you for being here. Good turnout considering Thanksgiving's next week. So I appreciate you guys joining us. Yeah, welcome. So as always, we've got a great meeting planned. This one's going to be fun. We've got a lot of great talking points today. Woo. We'll end the year strong. And before we get started, we'll kick it over to our breakfast sponsors. We've got Marissa Brennan and Jason Tabeling of First American Title.
Marissa, I believe, sorry, but she says hi.
And then we've also got Brianna and Amir, our in-house lenders with owned home loans. Do you guys have a preference on who goes first?
I don't care.
You're up here. You want to go for it? Awesome. Let's welcome Brianna up to the stage here.
Hi. Of course. How's breakfast? Good. There's enough for everybody, most everybody, to have seconds, so dig in. All right, you guys. Little mortgage update for you, and then I've got more stuff at the end, so don't leave. I'm going to talk about some exciting news in terms of credit and some changes that are happening in the industry, and just some good tips for anybody who's got someone who needs to build some credit. I'm going to talk about that at the end, but first, a little mortgage update for you guys. Interest rates were 6.24% for the average rate locked on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage last week, which is pretty good from where we were just a little while ago. That's not too bad. And we got the jobs report for September this morning, so that's what I wanted to cover. The shutdown delayed all this government data, all this intel that the traders use to trade those 10-year treasuries and those mortgage-backed securities that impact mortgage rates, and we've just been flying blind lately because we didn't have any of that data coming out of the government with the shutdown. So September's jobs report, the job situation report, dropped this morning, and we saw some mixed information. We saw some revisions from July and August that are definitely helping mortgage rates today. We saw a revision for July, 7,000 fewer jobs than what they put out in July. And then for August, 26,000 fewer jobs than they expected, for a net loss of 4,000 jobs for August, when we thought there were 22,000 new jobs created. And then for the month of September, a little better than expected, but net overall, we're still just kind of on a downward trajectory in terms of job creation, and definitely showing that weakness. So this will be, we also found out just yesterday that this will be the last jobs report that the Fed has from the government before going into that December meeting in December on the 10th. So we're not going to be able to see November's information, or October's actually, in November. That's going to be delayed. The Bureau of Labor Statistics said we need more time to put this together. All that shutdown nonsense is still kind of trickling out and dust settling, so we won't see those October numbers in November. We'll see them after the Fed meets in December. So this was the last piece of information that we were going to get, that they were going to get to decide whether or not we should cut rates or not. They've kind of been leaning lately towards we need to work on inflation, and if they go back to jobs, they'll do a cut because we are seeing that weakness, but I think they're going to focus more on the inflation side for a little while. We might not see that cut in December, but who knows how they're going to digest the information that we got this morning with those losses, those revisions that we saw for July and August. But predictions are for suckers, so we'll just see what happens. But for now, mortgage rates are not too bad. I'll be back up in a little while, you guys, and we'll talk about credit, but here's Jason.
Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. I just have to brag about Jason and Marissa. We had a sponsor that canceled on us, and these guys stepped up right away for us. So thank you for being here, Jason.
All right. Thanks, Larry. All right. So Marissa gave me specific instruction to start talk about marketing. So I don't know if anyone's ever used our big ticket or home books, but we've changed it to be called the Eagle Collection. If you ever want to know more about that, just reach out to Marissa. Okay. There's different options: silver package, $119, gold, $244, platinum, $319. But I'll tell you what the platinum kind of includes, and it's quantity of 50, 11 by 17, 4-page brochures, 250 panoramic postcards, up to 24, 4¼ by 5.5 feature cards, and then the home book and farm. So if you ever want to read, Marissa's the one to talk to about marketing and social media. But the other thing I wanted to ask, actually I want to start with a question too. So who loves portals, secure portals? Anyone?
That's a sarcastic.
All right. So I know everything's going to secure portals. We get calls all the time. Why we have to log in? We all know this, right? It's for security purposes. So this one's, we just rolled out what's called an owner's portal. And what this does is after closing on your buy sides, everyone's heard of title lock, right? That you have to go sign up separate. This is just First American's version of that. It is where the buyers will get an email. They have to go in and register. But from that point, it's just automatic every month where they'll get an email that says everything is good. There's no one's filed a deed on your property or anything like that. We'll monitor properties for 3 potential signs of fraud: new deeds, liens, and listings. We'll email alerts so homeowners can intervene. And then that ties into our Eagle policy, which I know Marissa talked about probably a couple months ago, that we do. That Eagle policy provides coverage for that sort of stuff. So if there is a new deed, lien, or a sale that someone's trying to do fraudulent, our attorneys will get involved in and help clear that for the customers. So just wanted to let you guys know that, but that's what's new on our end. So make sure you have a question, Eagle policy, portals, owner's portal. It's a ton of information, I know, but contact Marissa or I with any questions.
Thank you, Jason.
You got it.
Appreciate that. Jason's one of the best closers. I'm sure most of you guys. Thanks for being here. All right. Resilience, our theme for 2025. How did you guys feel? Were you resilient this year?
Yes.
Yes. I like it.
We're still here.
We're still here. You're showing up. I feel like resilience was a really good theme after the last 2 years, and you guys are super resilient. Just the conversations I can think of back in August of 2024 when all those changes took place, the conversations we're having now, you guys were so stressed and so worried, and I just want to point this out. You're a resilient bunch. And resilience means the ability to adjust to, recover from, and overcome misfortune or change. And I have a quick little story. Sorry to my Buffini students, you're going to hear it twice. I thought this would be a quick little story to end our year, our theme of resilience. Have you guys heard of Andre Bargle? I think is how you say his last name. He was the first guy to summit Mount Everest and ski down Mount Everest without oxygen. That's a huge deal. And I'm going to be sharing the video. It's a 30-minute video where you can watch it. The video starts with him at the summit. And he's trained for this years and years and years. It was his 3rd attempt, and he pulled it off. But as I'm watching this, there's one part, and I'm telling you, this is intense. His breathing in this video, it's the whole time. And it's because I think you can only survive in the death zone at that height for 16 to 20 hours. And he was in the death zone for 17 or 18 hours. So he was pushing his limits. So he's skiing down, and he goes through this pass called the Ice Falls, which it's literally ice that is moving like a glacier. And it's as intimidating as you might picture. His brother's on the walkie-talkie. He's the one doing the drone. Beautiful footage, the best footage of Everest that I've ever seen. Well, his brother walkies to him. Andre, that path that you planned It's completely gone. It moved away with the ice slides that happen constantly. And so I'm like sitting at home watching this on my phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, resilience. And I think of you guys, and I'm like, this is a true example of resilience. He's committed. He's in it. He's on the mountain. The metaphor there, we're committed. This is our career. This is what we do on a daily basis. And there's a handful of agents who are saying, I can't make it down the mountain. I can't do this job anymore. I'm out. You guys aren't in that group. And like Andre, he's looking at his path that is completely covered, and he pivots. He goes, okay, that part looks pretty good. I think I can make it down there. With some guidance from his brother on the drone, backing him up, giving him some insights. You guys seeing these metaphors? The sales meetings, the Buffini classes, the market updates. Well, he adjusted, he pivoted, he was resilient and chose another path. And he made it down. And I just thought that was perfect timing to come across that video as we wrap up resilience. 2026 is going to get busy. There's predictions. Sorry, Allie, with the camera. There's predictions that the market is going to get better. It already is. And so now is the time to really put on the gas. Get in front of your people. Do the pop buys. Do the phone calls. Build that community because you're going to see it explode in the next couple of months, hopefully. And be resilient. It's a constant work in progress. And I see so many stories of resilience within this room. Little things you've come to me on over the hotline. So that's my message for resilience as we wrap it up. Keep it going. You got this. Even when it feels tough, you've got a great support system behind you, and we're rooting for you all the time. And in 2026, we have some new systems that we're incorporating that'll help you get there. And I'm really excited to talk about that. So, Jason.
Real quick, Paul, just real quick, I know deals are tough. We're always here to help on the title side. Paul and I touch base, text, and phone often, just to work through things together. So, just wanted to let you know, any title stuff, you can always reach out. Text, email, phone, anything.
Yes,
or reach out to Paul and
we're so well connected to Jason and Brianna and Amir when we have lending turbulences, and it's not even their deal. They're in our back pocket to provide guidance. We've got Scott Peterson, the legal counsel over at Carr. I've talked to him 4 or 5 times this year, which is a lot. So, yeah, I know you guys are getting beat up. Even the transactions that you're closing, they're tough. I wish Crystal Adams were here and Steve Harder were here because they're the two that come to mind. It was a very turbulent transaction, but they got it done. And it was probably the most turbulent transactions either of them have encountered in their career. So I know how you guys are feeling, and I just want to reiterate that we're here for you to keep it going into 2026. So, everybody motivated, fired up?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to quickly do some welcoming of new agents, and I know I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if this is your first meeting, or if you're new to equity, if you'd like to just quickly stand and just say hi, we've got these really cool Equity E lapel pins for you. Any volunteers?
I'll start.
All right, Alan.
Hi.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'm a native of Colorado, and I was referred here by Sharon Ramirez to start and join this group.
Yeah.
And so I started last August. I told Paul that I'm going to start off part-time, not really light the world on fire. And things have changed. We've got 2 closings coming up next month. So things are picking up.
You're crushing it. Welcome aboard, Alan.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan. Anybody else?
Hi there. I'm Suzanne Durr. I just came over less than a month ago from Coldwell Baker. Been with them for 8 years here in Colorado, a native of Pueblo, and Equity was also recommended by a very good friend of mine, not in your company, but we all know Brian Answer had been my former broker, and when I was looking for a change, he highly recommended you guys, so here I am looking forward to it.
So happy.
Thank you.
Any others? Anybody that missed their first sales meetings?
tool belt in?
You want one? Go on. All right. Well, welcome everybody. We have so many good people joining our company, and I'm really proud of that because people can sense the culture that we have here. So a quick shout out, agent referrals. If you're new to equity, we have profit share. So if you refer an agent to equity and they join, you get $100 for every transaction that agent closes. So wanted to throw that out there for Alan and Suzanne. Pete O'Lean referred Lindy King, who joined. And Ken DeShays referred John Beldock. Have you heard of Green Broker, I think it is, or is it Green Broker? I won't get into it, but John Beldock has created an organization of about 8,000 agents nationwide. And I'm working on getting him over here. He'd be a great asset to our company as well. So thank you for your referrals, everybody. And then here are a couple quick pictures of people who have joined since our last meeting. We've got Jennifer Krabs, there's Suzanne, Lindy King, Ryan Penn, which is another great agent out in, I think is it Solora? Solterra. Really good agent. Michael Sparks and Atuoma Iza. He's a UFC fighter. He's also out there in Utah. So our network is expanding. We've got a lot of good agents all over the nation. So it continues to grow, which I'm really, really happy about. Great people. And then I thought I would skip the market update just because there's some things that I want to talk about. I will keep this screen up on the board here just so you can see the comparisons between last month and this month. Overall, the market's a little bit down right now, as you can see. Closed transactions, September we had 3,284. October, 3,212, so just down slightly. Pending transactions in September, 3,353, and then in October it was 3,230. New listings, 4,668 in September, and then in October, 4,212. And then this one's kind of fun. We always like this. Median days on market. September was 36. October went down to 34. 2 days down. So this isn't uncommon around this time of year. People are celebrating the holidays and kind of winding down. But there's still a lot of great deals to be had out there during the holidays. So stay the course. If you're asking that question, should I list during the holidays? I'd say yeah, keep it going. There's people out there looking for deals. So I think before I move away from market stats, I do want to plug, I'm going to plug this twice. We've got Brian Buffini's bold predictions on December 3rd. We're going to do a live watch party at the DTC office. So come on over to the office. We'll have refreshments. You can just watch the live stream on our conference room TVs. And the advantage of that is we can kind of do breakout groups. We can chat, share our insights, and just build camaraderie, and it's a good time. Even if you can't attend in person, watch those online because they're really good. That's Lawrence Yoon, the chief economist for NAR, Brian Buffini, and then Kevin O'Leary, which I have mixed feelings about Kevin. I'm curious to see what he's going to say about it.
He's Mr. Wonderful, right?
He's Mr. Wonderful, yeah, from Shark Tank. Yeah. Great event. Brian Buffini has only been wrong in 2 of his predictions. So they're pretty accurate. And he's just a good source to lean into. Anybody going to show up to the meeting in person?
What time?
So it's 10 o'clock a.m. to 12:30. You can take off whenever you need to. I think the event itself runs to. That's December 3rd, Wednesday. So if you could RSVP, just in case, if we get a big turnout, we have to move it upstairs to the big 3rd floor conference room. But that'll be fun. Just come hang out, watch the market update. And this is what I wanted to spend some time talking about. Buyers accessing the property after inspection and appraisal milestones are completed. Has anybody dealt with that? Alan, Julie, Kara, Vera? All right. So I'll start with 2 questions. Can and should. Can a buyer access the property when they're under contract and those major milestones like inspection, appraisal have passed? We'll talk about final walkthrough later. Can the buyer access the property after those milestones have passed? Yeah, they can. Should they? access the property after those milestones have passed?
Not my case.
Depends. Yeah, not in your case. That's why we're talking about this, is because there's this gray area where you do open yourself up to some risks. And I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of those risks, because over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, about a month, we've had 4 or 5 people call into the support line with this question, where it's caused intricate problems and extra turbulence that could have been avoided. So I've got a couple of talking points. Remember, aside from the contract-related access milestones, inspection, appraisal, final walkthrough, the buyer needs special approval from a seller to enter the home. This applies to having someone who is not on the contract access the property as well. Those two are tied together. The buyer who maybe has the dad who's a handyman, he wants to go to inspection. I've got a good story for you on that and how it detrimentally affected the deal. Furthermore, after inspection milestones have passed, the buyer does not have an automatic right to further inspect the home or coordinate contractors for future projects taking place after closing. That's mainly the last handful of questions were about that specific topic. I chose this picture because after inspection, sometimes this is what a buyer looks like. They're ready to move in. And they have contractors coming out to do estimates on projects that are going to take place after closing. And there's this weird misconception that the buyer has the right to just go and do that, and if the seller rejects it, the seller's being unreasonable. And that's why we're talking about this, because it is not unreasonable for a seller to say, no, I don't really want you in the property right now because it's an inconvenience. You could damage the property. There are things that could detrimentally affect the sale, as innocent as that drop-by seems. So that's why we're talking about it. I'm going to go back. I'll open it up for a conversation in a second. It's not the buyer's home until after closing, period. And a lot of these buyers and buyer's agents, they just think that they can just go up, show up to the home and poke and prod and dig and do all these things after those inspection milestones have passed. And that is a bit of an overstep. So here are the risks we've encountered. Buyer damages the property prior to closing. Disputes cause turbulence. See section 10.4 of the CBS. So a buyer goes in, they might inspect something, maybe they need to pop the toilet off or something to get into the sewer line, or they need to make alterations to truly inspect that property. And of course the inspector goes, oh, I do this all the time, it'll be no big deal. The contract does say that the buyer is responsible for anything that's damaged as a result of their inspection. That's section 10.4. But it's way deeper than that. I wish Karina Podlesny were here in our Buffini class. She had an inspector who left the tub on in a beautiful listing. If you saw her posts on Facebook, that beautiful listing that just sold. The inspector left the tub on, and then they went and inspected the home, and it flooded, and it completely damaged the main floor where that bathroom was. And the water leaked down to the family room or living room area. This buyer and this buyer's agent were like, not our problem. You let us in. They were just so flippant about it. They did not care. So Karina called me. I point out that section of the contract. They got it resolved, but it was turbulence and turmoil and added stress. The buyer and seller weren't getting along, and it just caused a lot of frustrations. My point with that one is, even if there's a safeguard in the contract, that doesn't mean that it's not going to affect the communication and just the overall feel of the transaction. So that was related to inspection. And sometimes, you have to let a buyer in to inspect the home, but what if you let them back after the inspection negotiations have been completed? You have an inspection resolution signed, and that buyer just says, I just want to do one more test. Do you let them do it? I think it's a case-by-case basis. Other risks. Buyer's family or friend, not a party to the contract, persuades the buyer against purchasing the property. Steve Harder had a crazy one where it was an earnest money dispute and tortious interference. That was a fun one. Tortious interference is when a third party, someone who's not involved with the contract, prevents the transaction from closing. And that's what happened. There was a buyer who was thrilled about this home, and they were close to reaching an inspection resolution. Very minimal things. Steve's seller said they'd do everything and beyond just to get this deal closed because they had a contingency. They had to close on their next residence. The mom buyer, she's an elderly woman, about 75, 80 years old, and her I think she had dementia happening, and there was a will involved. She brings her kids to the inspection. Steve found out these kids didn't want mom buying a house, dipping into their will, when they knew mom might be towards the end of life. Isn't that terrible, first of all? Terrible people. I don't know them personally. They persuaded mom not to buy the home by going to the inspection and saying, oh, this place is a dump. This place, you need to put so much money into this. When Steve's seller already agreed to do all these things and then some, she was really excited. The deal terminated. And there wasn't much we could do other than that tortious interference, which that requires attorneys, and it's a whole drawn out process. At the end of the road, Steve and I decided, let's just release the earnest money. We could have dug our heels in and probably gone to bat and gotten it, but those are the complications that we don't really think are going to happen with these little requests of, can my buyer just come back and look at something? Additional adverse material facts are discovered, causing the buyer to terminate. This one's intricate. Eileen Kitco, she's always got intricacies. Yes. This was she again represented the seller. Inspection negotiations were passed. There was a buyer. The buyer was the agent, so he was savvy. He was also a construction guy. He was going to redevelop the property. Hey, Eileen, can I just jump back in there and do a soils test really quick? Eileen's like, should I? Should I have him do a soils inspection? I mean, technically, he has the right to inspect the property and do his due diligence. I had to call Scott Peterson for a legal question. His consensus was after those inspection milestones had passed, the buyer doesn't just get the right to jump in there and start digging things up and investigate further. And if the seller would have just said, yeah, you can come back in and do it, no problem. It just adds a complication, because what if there's a problem with that soils test that buyer should have done in the inspection phase, and now we need to maybe renegotiate the contract. Now the buyer can maybe terminate based on new material facts, which one would argue they have the right to do that. They could lose their earnest money if they do that, if they terminate based on that adverse material fact. That same buyer came back into the home and was testing for lead, and they drilled little holes into the walls throughout the house and just left them. No. So that's why we're talking about this, is it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to let a buyer into the property until it is. And then the last one, inconveniences for seller or buyer causing unnecessary hardship later in the transaction. Crystal Adams. She had a crazy scenario. This was a trespassing issue where the buyer accessed the property before Crystal or the seller gave authorization. So the seller's sitting at home and there's a roofer on the roof. Seller doesn't even know they're there. What happens if that roofer fell? Crystal and the seller didn't give authorization, and that almost blew up the transaction. The buyer and seller were totally upset at each other, and it was bumpy all the way up to the last minute before closing. Pretty crazy. So here's what it boils down to. I want you guys to think about this. Is providing access to the buyer a contractual obligation to the transaction? For example, inspection, appraisal, maybe appraisal conditions where the appraiser has to come back out and verify some work that was completed to satisfy the loan. and final walkthrough. Those are the major milestones of the contract where the buyer does have the right to visit the property. Are there safeguards in the contract to buy and sell that alleviate you and your seller's concerns? There really aren't that many, other than that if the buyer damages something. I personally think they need a new deadline in the contract. Just like we have appraisal deadline, appraisal objection, and appraisal resolution. It should be an inspection deadline. Buyer has until X date to complete all inspection research. And then we move on to inspection termination, inspection objection, and inspection resolution. I'm actually going to submit that to Dora because that was Eileen's problem. We were going back and forth on, does the buyer have the right to come back? They do have the right to research the property, but it is a little bit of an overstep after those negotiations have been completed. And that was Scott Peterson's stance on it too. Dominic.
Well, wasn't that the way it was before they combined inspection, termination, and inspection objection as the same date?
Kind of.
You could have different dates in there. Now the standard or the tradition is it's the same date.
Yeah.
Terminate or object.
I think it's tied to it. They wanted a buyer to either terminate or submit an objection by the same day, because what was happening in the old contracts, we would match inspection resolution with inspection termination. Well, what was happening is the seller was already starting to repair some things and starting that avenue of fixing things, making things right, but that inspection termination deadline was still in play, and the buyer would just terminate after the seller made all this progress and spent all this money to get it done. So I would say that kind of ties into this. But now the contract wants you, are you going to negotiate and go down the milestone of objection, or are you just going to terminate altogether? That decision needs to be made by the same date. But, yeah, good question. So is the buyer's access request imperative enough to take on extra risk and turbulence in the transaction, or can it wait? That's the question we should always be asking. In the bottom line, discuss in detail with your seller so they can make an educated decision on providing access to the buyer. And I would say if it's for contractors to come in and get estimates for things that are going to happen after closing, wait till closing. Nothing in the contract states that you can do that or should do that. And then same thing on the buy side. I just want you guys to be aware of this. Understand. Be aware of the potential overstep. Be courteous. Don't be like the buyer's agents that we've been encountering on the listing side where they're like, your seller's being ridiculous. Why can't they just let us in? Because there's problems that you're not even thinking about, and I'm protecting my seller. That's the answer. So if you do request a buyer to enter the property after all those milestones have passed, be courteous. Understand that there's a little bit of a boundary cross there, and be nice. I say that, and then I look at everybody in this room. I'm like, we've got the best, nicest agents. You guys wouldn't do that. But any questions or comments on that? That's 5 questions we had on this over the last 3 weeks. Alan.
I'd like to provide a comment as well, because I don't understand this as it goes for the capacity as an agent. I'm faced with this access because the buyer's agent wants access to measure for this and that, running contractors through. I'm thinking, is the agent a general contractor when they're running people through the seller's property? Is that part of an agent's responsibility? I'm just bringing that question out.
Anybody have an answer?
Everybody does their own thing.
Yeah.
Based on the seller. Sometimes your seller needs a little more help.
I think it's such a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
But in your case, I feel like that was an overstep. They were doing things that should have just waited until closing.
They are now.
Yeah. And Alan just went through this, and he did a really nice, polite, but firm message. It's an inconvenience to the seller. You guys have already come over twice. This was after we kind of talked about some of these things. And then it was no big deal. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'll back off a little bit. That's what we got from the buyer's agent. Leo.
I have a question/suggestion. So So just having been through it myself a couple times, when you mentioned someone on the roof, it just sort of clicked with me. Roofs are such an issue here with inspection particularly. And I wonder if anyone has thought about providing some kind of like class or just, pointers on getting through that particular section of an inspection.
Yeah.
Could be really useful. It really helped me when I was a brand new agent, but
Yeah, it's great.
ongoing, I think it'd be a good idea.
So I will definitely take that because we've had roofers teach those types of classes at our offices and even at these meetings. Smedra has some stuff going on too, but I'm going to be talking about some things we're doing in 2026, and I've heard you, and I will try to work that in to the schedule. Great suggestion. Which, that's a perfect time to say, if you guys ever have suggestions on what you want to see, let me know. Because Allie and I discuss, Greg and I discuss all the time, what do people want to see? We think we know, but if you have suggestions, by all means, let us know what kind of classes you guys want. Thanks, Leo. Any other thoughts, comments on this? Dan?
Back on that, I've had a couple scenarios where the insurance companies are not covering the roof. It's over 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's an important fact to know going in.
Yeah. Yeah, insurance is a little weird right now.
Yeah, that's a new
They're
requirement.
insane.
Yeah, weird is putting it lightly. Good to know. Alright, guys. This one's fun. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this because we all kind of know if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Don't click the sketchy links that you're getting. But I've had probably, 40 or 50 people reach out to us about, does this seem like a scam, Paul, or why am I receiving this? The reason I am talking about it at a sales meeting is because these scammers are actually getting pretty savvy. They know how you guys work, and they're starting to ask questions that make this seem legitimate. And I've got 3 or 4 examples of real inquiries from our agents that I just want to show you so you know how to watch out for these things. Here's kind of the, bottom of the list. This one's easy to spot out. Name, email, phone number. Hey, I'm from Sacramento. I'm looking for a vacation home in Denver. You can reach me on my WhatsApp. For convenient communication and set up a time for a chat. Further details, I hope this message finds you well. I've pursued probably 10 of these, and every single time it's a scam. So if you see WhatsApp, go into it. If you're going to pursue it, I would say don't even pursue it. But if you're going to pursue it, go into it with the mindset of this is probably not going to be anything, and I'm just going to have fun. Just to see if maybe it does turn into something. You guys already knew that,
I have
right?
a client that's former FBI, and he says, only share WhatsApp with someone you know.
Yeah.
Because it's unencrypted, so
Unencrypted.
they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, it's just an open forum. It's not tied to anybody like a phone number is. Katie.
I'm seeing a lot of those scams come through the system that used to be KV Core. I forget.
Bold Trail.
Bold Trail.
Yeah, that's
And
this.
so when they, initially when I got some of those through Bold Trail, I thought, oh, it's our system. It's probably legitimate, and then it wasn't.
Well, and that's the frustrating part is because some of those leads that are fed to you could be real leads. Because I have seen 2 transactions come as a result of someone inquiring through the Bold Trail system. So just vet it. If you do get that lead, don't give up on it right away. Take a look at it, try to see if it's a real person, which I've got some strategies coming here in a second. But if you see WhatsApp, don't pursue it. I'm sure you guys already know that. But then it gets a little better. This is a new one that I've been seeing in the last month. Kristen Wiley sent this to me. Shout out to Kristen because we're filming and I know she watches these. So Kristen got a similar inquiry. I'm a buyer looking to purchase a property. Let's read this text message. So they're getting savvy. They're asking about HOA fees, recent updates, current offer activity on, I think, Kristen's listing. I appreciate your time. Look forward to you. You bet. Kristen responds, I'm just about to hop into the car for an appointment. Do you have an email address I can send some more info? Starting that follow-up process. I feel a regular call won't quite do justice, as I really prefer us to see one another and connect properly. how about we schedule a Zoom video call first? That way, we can have a clear and direct conversation before moving forward. Kristen says, you bet. We could also grab coffee downtown if you prefer. Let me know what your week looks like and we can get something scheduled. Email address is sent. Here's my email. Once I receive a text from you, I'm going to send you the Zoom link for a short video call so we can move forward. Remember, a couple months ago, we said, we always want you guys to get on a Zoom call, a face-to-face, a FaceTime. Get in front of this person. These scammers picked up on that. And so the scam behind this, they create a Zoom link that is a phishing link. And when you click on that Zoom link, they have full control of your computer and can do all kinds of crazy things. See, they're savvy.
I received 2 of those this week.
Did you?
And it was weird because on the first one I wasn't, concerned or anything. I'm okay, let's do it soon. And then, I'm not even joking, like 10 minutes later, another email came in that said, let's hop on a Zoom link. And I'm like, that's what caught my eye because I'm like, I've never had anybody say, let's hop on a Zoom. Well, I mean, I have, but to have those happen within just a few minutes apart was very strange. And so I kind of played around with it a little bit because I like to see what they're after.
Yeah.
And both of them said, let me send you a Zoom link. And so then I kind of pushed back and said, I'll send you a Zoom link when, I'm done with this. Same thing. And they kept pushing, no, we'll send you a Zoom link. Well, I'll send you a Zoom link.
Yep, there's a reason.
So if you want to do a Zoom, you set up the Zoom link.
Yep.
That's it.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Great point. You're right.
My red flag is anyone still using AOL probably doesn't know how to use Zoom.
But the other thing, though, that's actually savvy, though, because that means that person has been around long enough to have an established email address. But there's
Plus you have some of the aging population that's still not saying well.
True. But also, I just learned there's a program out there. I don't know the name of it. I just heard about this from our Resure rep, the contracting software. You can create any email address of your choice temporarily. Dominic, I'm sure you probably know all about it. And Vera too, with all your tech backgrounds. You can create those email addresses with any domain in a matter of seconds and receive those emails to an inbox of your choice. It's pretty crazy. It's a helpful tool to have that for certain things, but it's a vulnerability too for people like this. So, go ahead, Dominic.
There's another thing that I found. Everything scares me anyway, but I got a call once, and there was a number, and the person's name, I recognized it, and I said, oh, that's an old friend of mine when I lived in Dallas 30-something years ago. Why is she calling me? And then I went to 411 and I looked up the number, and it was somebody in Missouri or something like that. And then I was talking to an old friend of mine in Dallas, and I said, oh, by the way, I got this message from so-and-so. And my friend said, she died a few years ago.
Jeez.
So I'm trying to connect this and figure out, so somebody in Missouri has a phone number, and then they get the name of an old friend of mine who died a few years ago. I personally, I don't pay attention to any of this stuff anymore. I agree with what you said. If I do a Zoom call, I'm initiating.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of weird stuff.
It's crazy. They're getting savvy. Do you have an example too, Justin?
So yesterday, because we were ready to close tomorrow, I actually had a person come in and say, the client's name, here's your settlement statement. Yeah. And it was not. And so I'm coming from the tech world. I will go over and hold and hover on certain things. I will look before I ever click on an email, on my phone, whatnot, to see what is it. And it was so close to the right. Like, you look at the link and you look at your email and where it's coming from, small little difference. And that's how I knew in seconds. And I also know my title company files.
Yeah.
They're quick. They know.
It's easy to fall for it. Well, and I did want to just mention Forewarn. So if anybody doesn't know about Forewarn, that number Kristen had texts from, you plug it in, and there are 0 search results, which is a huge indicator that that's probably a scam. If it's a real person, you'll find a real name. I don't have the screenshots, but I found probably the stickiest scam that I was personally affected with, just like this, same kinds of texts. The number, though, did trace in forewarn back to the person who they said that they were. And I don't know if it was a situation like yours, Dominic, where maybe that person passed away and they know where they live so they can link it to the address. Or I might have just walked away on an actual lead because it just didn't feel right. But it started to get combative because I asked for photo IDs, which we'll talk about here in a second too. And I got pushed back on that. Well, you don't trust me, and people who are legitimate are going to understand our safety concerns. But to have a phone number that they're communicating to me with that does track and forewarn to the addresses they're talking about, it's getting pretty serious. So a couple more quick ones. I think you'll read through this one and laugh. Brielle said I could use this at the sales meeting. Hey Brielle, I contacted you so you can represent us as a real estate agent. We need a commercial property with adequate space as we intend to expand into other ventures in the future. We can build or renovate an existing property that fits our needs. We need at least 6,000 square footage of property. And then this is where it's like, oh, okay. We have budgeted 12 million pounds sterling. This amount is not solely for the purchase of the property. It will also be used to prepare the property for our use. That one's pretty easy to spot out. Sterling silver.
Well, and one giveaway for me is if I see a country code with the phone number.
Yeah, down here.
I just say, terrific, delete.
Yeah. That one's easy. But it's an example of these things that people reach out and say, have you ever seen anything like this? So. And then the last one, I think everybody in here knows, I will never ask you to buy gift cards. So this person, and to expand on what Justin said, this person is posing as me. Are you free to converse RN right now? Doesn't sound like me, obviously.
No.
Always check the email address first. So as Justin said, it's got my name on it, but if you click on my name, onlinemail761@gmail.com, that's not my email address. A lot of email providers, though, don't show the email address. They just show the name. Anybody can jump on Gmail and create a fake name, fake account, and pose as me. And sometimes they can even grab my email signature to make it look even more like me. So check the email, and then I'll never ask you to buy gift cards.
Just
Ever.
don't click on the link.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I'm a little long-winded. Hey, Rocio, how are you? Hope you're having a great day. There's a reason I do that for the fraudsters. Yeah. So just the follow-up. Remember, use forewarn to verify your identities. And I'm truly 100% true about this. Text me. If you don't have access to forewarn, I will run that number for you and send you screenshots of what comes up. Because Maria Lee had a serious situation where she got punched at a property. We talked about this at 2 sales meetings ago. Because she met a buyer she didn't know at the property and she didn't run him through forewarn. Luckily, that's all it was a punch, and then he got in his car and ran away. So if you feel weird about anybody and you have a phone number or a name, rough age, I can plug all that into forewarn for you if you don't have the app. Forewarn is free for Smedra members. And, there's no fee to transfer. If this is a big indication you want to forewarn, you can transfer to Smedra for free.
So I've had it where I looked it up, and you can see even criminal history.
Oh yeah.
You can see everything. How many convictions. It gives you the feeling as an agent, do I even want to, if it's real, do I want to even work with this person?
Yep. It's a great app. It's my favorite thing that Smedra offers. And then the last couple quick pieces we already talked about. Request a copy of a valid photo ID if you're interacting with someone you don't know. They will send it to you if they're legit. And you can say, it's my brokerage's policy before conducting business. Blame it on me. You call the shots. That's another huge one, to Kara's point. You call the shots. Use your own Zoom and Google Meet links. You establish that meeting so you know it's safe. And then same thing, meet in locations where you feel safe. No commission is worth your safety, period.
I have a question for the group. I get these texts all the time. Hi Tom, this is whomever. Do you have any properties available? I get those off every day. I just delete them on, I have no clue who you are.
And investors ones, right?
What's that?
We have
Investors.
a property, those investors ones, those we get at the end,
Yeah.
We're looking for properties of market.
Right.
Honestly, I save those in my phone as a cash investor, and then when I have something, I just, not even joking, the other day, I sent out like probably 12 text messages to these cash investors of a property that I'm trying to move, and I've gotten a couple of bites.
And if they identify themselves, just like, hi, this is Lucy, do you have any problems? I get some of those vague ones that I just delete. But if it's somebody that I'm in such and such a company, or whatever, we do this, that gets my attention.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are cash investors that have gotten our information from whatever, and I think those are legitimate for the most part. I mean, obviously be careful, but yeah, I sent out a mass text to everybody that I'd saved as a cash investor, and I'm now talking to a couple of them about property that I have listed.
And how do you identify them as legitimate cash?
Just they text me something like that.
Okay.
I respond, not now. And they're probably texting you from a marketing line. I mean, these savvy cash investors have things set up, or it's mass text, or it's something like that. So it does look a little spammy. It is. But if they're legitimate cash investors, you can ask for.
I asked them to email me information on the company as well.
Oh, that's good.
So that way, if they're serious, they're going to send me something like that. So more information.
I generally ask them to send me their buy box by email. I mean, I get these things all the time. Half the time, I'm just like,
don't even touch it. I interviewed.
Wholesaler who wants to.
yeah, a wholesaler.
Watch a late night TV show.
Do you have any pocket listings? And I'm like, okay. If you have pocket listings, I will list them. That's their obligation is to list them.
They're doing their job just like us.
Exactly. It's.
I think we are not annoying to our clients. Same thing.
Well, and I interviewed an agent 2 weeks ago who will be joining in December. She closed 3 transactions from those guys by saving them in her phone, just like that, and then texting them when she had opportunities, and it actually turned out to 3 deals. So.
Stay in touch with those investors, and you never know.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Brianna, I'll hand it over to you if you're ready.
I am.
All right, guys. Any other questions on scams? I figured most of you guys, that stuff, but they're getting pretty savvy in asking questions and posing real questions. So I thought it was important to mention it. Brianna.
Thank you. Yeah, totally. I don't even know if there's my coffee.
Yeah, there's a phone up there on the podium too. I don't know.
Did it ring? Did I even text?
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those mornings, you guys. Well, I forgot to mention, since we're having one of those mornings, that in this morning's employment situation download from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that unemployment rate actually crept up 0.1%. So one more little piece, some ammunition for the Fed to decide in December if we're going to cut interest rates or if we're going to hold them steady. So we're just going to have to wait and see what they're thinking. I want to talk about credit, you guys. We've got some news out of Fannie Mae stating that they're no longer requiring a minimum credit score. Any credit score, really. When it comes to Fannie Mae, we can use alternative forms of credit, and there's no minimum for someone who wants to apply and use Fannie Mae to finance their home. However, credit is still super, super important. It doesn't mean that the loan will actually be approved. Sure, you can put it in, but credit is still critically important. We still have to use that decision score, we call it, that credit score that gets used for all of those terms to decide what their interest rate is going to be, and that pricing and the terms of the loan are still impacted by that credit score. So it's still kind of needed. We're still waiting on Vantage Score. It's out there. All of the both of the GSEs and FHA have said that we can use Vantage Score, but it's just still so new. We're still using the old FICO model. But I wanted to show you guys the difference between the two and how they weight those factors that impact a credit score. And really, they use all the same stuff. It's just weighted more heavily with Vantage than it is with FICO or vice versa. But these are the things that are used to determine someone's credit score. And it's things like the payment history and how many late payments or their credit utilization. The gist of this is that we're looking at the same stuff, regardless of what platform we're using to pull those credit reports and submit for that underwriter to review someone's credit. So here are the credit dues for let me back up a little bit. I'm seeing so many hurting credit reports lately. This has been kind of an ache on my heart when I'm seeing buyers that want to get pre-approved. I'm just seeing credit reports that are just kind of a mess, and we're doing a lot to clean up credit and build credit. So I wanted to kind of cover some basics for you guys so that you could help if there's somebody that's coming to you way before you're bringing them to us to have a conversation. These are some things that you guys can talk with them about in terms of how's your credit and what kinds of things can you do to create credit, to build it, to clean it up. And as I showed with the Vantage and FICO, they're really the same. So making payments more frequently to keep ratios under 30%. This is something that when I look at a credit report and I can see someone's utilization ratio is maybe right there on the fence or a little on the higher side, I recommend someone who is actually using and paying down their credit each month. When you're applying in particular, make your payments more frequently because you need to be using credit. If you're not using credit, they don't have a way of scoring you. They need to be able to see how you're increasing and decreasing those balances on a monthly basis. So we want buyers to be actually putting stuff on their credit cards. I've absolutely seen credit reports go from qualifying credit score to, whoa, no credit score. What happened? They just stopped using their credit cards for a few months and credit went completely stale. It was new credit. It was kind of a thin credit report, if you will. It wasn't real robust. They only had a couple of accounts, but when they quit using them, credit just completely went away. So we want them using their credit and using it consistently, but when they're applying for credit, especially if they don't have very high available balances, use it, but pay it more frequently to keep those ratios as low as possible, but ideally under 30%. So weekly even, if necessary, to keep those credit ratios really low. Keeping accounts open, never close a credit card. Installment loans are going to close if they're paid off. There's nothing you can do about a student loan or a car loan closing once those loans are paid in full. That always hurts a credit report if we see an account close. But definitely don't close any credit cards, especially the old ones, because that changes the average age of your credit. And that's another factor with credit scoring, is how old that credit is. Like fine wine, we want old credit cards. Even if you don't use them, keep them. Asking your creditors for a raise is like something that doesn't get thought about a lot or recommended. I recommend it every time for someone who has that high utilization ratio. Cards are at 50%, 60% of being maxed out in terms of those available balances. And we want to preserve the down payment, right? We don't want them using all of the money that they've got saved for down payment and closing costs to go towards credit card payoff. First thing I recommend that they do is call their creditors and ask for a raise. If that credit card company will increase that balance from a $4,000 available balance to $5,000, that utilization ratio changes instantly, and they didn't spend a dime of their down payment money to do it. Maintaining a mix of different credit. Someone says, yeah, I've got a car loan. Okay, how about credit cards? Because you need both. You need revolving debt and installment debt. So for someone who's new, who just hasn't believed in credit, I get that all the time. Maybe they only have credit cards. They've never had an installment loan. On your sheet here, you guys, I've got all of these tips, a little bit more detail on each one of these. You can hand this to somebody who's working on building their credit, or have this in front of you when you're having a meeting. On this one here at the bottom, for installment debt, that's car loans, that's student loans, that's mortgages, that's personal loans, where it's a fixed term and payment. Not suggesting that buyers go out and get a car loan or open a personal loan just to take on that installment debt, but my favorite is to open a loan with Self Inc. And that link is down here in that bottom paragraph on that front page. Self Inc. is the coolest, you guys. Someone can open a loan and make payments, a payment size that they choose for a payment term that they choose. Maybe they only want to make 12 payments, 2 years of payments. They get to decide. I suggest using the shortest term and the lowest payment possible. But they open up this loan, they make payments. Self Inc. reports those payments to the 3 major credit reporting bureaus, but it's basically a savings account that doesn't earn any interest. They're keeping the interest so that they can take care of those administrative fees, but at the end of that loan term, that person gets all that money back. So it's building credit, that installment payment history is established, but they're also saving for their down payment. So I love Self Inc. A few more, you guys, getting added as an authorized user. Everybody knows this one, right? Well, just have your mom add you to a credit card and instantly you'll inherit your credit score. Well, let's be choosy about who we're going on that card with. You want to choose someone that has good credit. You want to choose a card that has some age to it, if you can. Not somebody that just opened a credit card. Your brother just got one, so you're going on with him. Pick mom, pick grandma, pick a card that's been out there for a while.
So I have a funny story because I, years back, like 2010, had, high 600 credit score, but was looking to buy a house and really wanted it over that 725 mark, ideally like 750. But I was like, okay, like 725 is a big marker for money institutions. And I called my mom and I was like, she has great credit. I was like, is there anything you need to put me on as an authorized user? She put me on this Bank of America card that she never uses. And my credit score went from like high 600, let's just say 675, to over 800, like very, very, very quickly. And I'm still an authorized user on that credit card. That credit card is older than I am. I'm 44 years old, and that credit card is like 50-something years old.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know.
Yeah. Well, it works, and it matters.
Totally works.
It does work.
But you're right.
You gotta be choosy.
She has great credit, so I was like, that's not an issue.
Probably has like a 50,000 available balance on it too, or something really high.
So it's beneficial in 2 ways. One is it has no balance. It's I think actually $50,000 limit or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And then 2, the age of it is older than I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Experience going, what happened here? No, but it's I've seen them on credit reports where it's like, oh, what is this card? You're an authorized user on this credit card. Oh yeah, that's my aunt's card. I had her add me so I could build credit. Yeah, well, it's tanking your credit score because her card's maxed out. You're not going to inherit their credit score, but you are, when you go on as an authorized user, you're going to inherit all of that credit history for that card, which can be helpful, but can also hurt. So you want to choose a card that has some age on it, as we can see how beneficial that is, but also that has a high available balance and a low utilization ratio. It will instantly change your credit ratio, your utilization ratio, to add that card to your profile, but it can be beneficial and it can also hurt. So you want to be choosy about who, tell your buyers to be choosy about who they're going on with, who's going to be that who they're sharing that with, that credit history with. You can absolutely add phone bills, utilities, streaming services. That's, alternative forms of credit. Vantage is going to be using rental history in that credit profile. FICO already does in some cases, but Vantage is going to be putting a heavier priority on those alternative forms of credit. But using Experian Boost, that's on your sheet on the back side. There's some tips on how to use Experian Boost to have, thank you, Paul, to have those alternative forms of credit added there just to have that credit history, those payments, that on-time payment history, hopefully on-time payment history in their profile. Tracking your credit movement on some sort of a monitoring service. There's a lot of them. I've got a few of them listed here with MyFICO, Experian. I think TransUnion also has an app where you can track your credit, and Credit Karma are big ones to see what your credit is doing, what their credit is doing. It's amazing to me how when I ask how's credit, most people don't know. So use one of those services to track it. Get a copy of your credit report. You can get a free copy of your credit report every week from all 3 of the major reporting bureaus. Information on how and where to do that is in your flyer. And correct mistakes. So when you see that King Soopers or Best Buy credit card that you didn't apply for on that credit report, get that looked at. But be careful about disputes. So that's also little information in your flyer on those disputes. If someone is disputing information on their credit report, that particular account is frozen. It's basically removed from that credit profile, and it's not calculated into the credit score. That creates a false stop and a hard stop for lenders. We actually can't process a credit report or process a loan that has a credit report that has an active dispute on there. So if that information is fraudulent or if it's just inaccurate, go to the creditor first rather than opening a dispute with the credit bureaus and having that account frozen from that credit report. Yeah.
Common practice with my credit card is when I have a dispute, they cancel the account and the new card.
I couldn't hear you.
Common practice with my Chase card is if I just want to dispute something, typically I have to go to the vendor or they'll issue a new card.
Oh.
And the new card is sometimes your only choice. Well, does that damage the credit score?
A little bit, because you're going to see probably the old account closed. So that's a ding on the credit. You're going to see brand new credit opened. So that's always a ding on the credit, at least for a short period of time. And you're going to have that age of credit history change, that average of all of those accounts. You've got a brand new one. So avoid having a new account issued. But disputes are kind of a big one. We do have options as a lender. We can either get all the documentation, including a police report to show that it was fraudulent activity. It was the result of identity theft on there when we see that dispute. And then the underwriter can choose to move that file forward. Or we have to pull a brand new credit report with that dispute removed or dissolved or resolved. So disputes can be an issue. So if you've got somebody that has some inaccurate information on their credit report, we definitely want to get it cleaned up. We just want to be careful how we do it, and it can definitely impact their timing in terms of that pre-approval and when they can actually move forward with a loan. Any questions that you guys have about credit stuff? You've got a buyer that's got some tricky situations, that's what we're here for. So love meeting with people and going over credit reports. We look at so many of them, we're kind of whizzes when it comes to seeing what can be changed on there.
I have an old school practice calling the lender. How it's still done. On the score, should I be asking which credit bureau, Vantage or FICO?
No, because we're going to pull a credit report from whatever credit agency we're using. We use Advantage Credit of Colorado. We still use FICO.
Both are equal.
They are, but they're different. I mean, if you look at, this is a question I get all the time. Well, how come my Credit Karma is telling me that my TransUnion and Equifax credit scores are 720 and 740? Well, Credit Karma is using Vantage Score. When we pull a credit report, we're pulling FICO Classic, and it's never the same. Credit Karma and what you are seeing on Credit Karma or Experian or MyFICO is a good clue for us. But number one, the platform that's being used is going to cause those credit scores to be a little bit different. The scoring model, FICO has multiple scoring models. Classic is what we use. And then even within that, there are a harsher scoring model that's used by mortgage lenders versus your bank or a credit card company when they're scoring you for that type of credit. Ours is a little bit harsher. So we're always going to see a difference in that credit score when we pull that report. I almost never see, oh, that's exactly what I see on my Credit Karma app right here. No, it's almost always a little bit lower. But they're good clues. So it really doesn't matter what they're seeing or what they're using and gauging that by. We're going to see what we see. But always call us with questions. Don't hesitate to bring buyers into the office to meet with us if they need a little bit of a consultation. I do have to say we are not credit repair. We can't guarantee any results by doing any of these things on this flyer, but responsible use of credit, making payments on time, paying down debt are all proven ways to impact credit scores. Here's my disclaimer. Any questions, you guys? I know we're out of time, but I'll be sticking around if anybody wants to come up and talk to me individually. But any questions for the group? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah.
I think right now we should be thinking about dialogues to present to buyers to get them off the fence in 2026. Look at how much stuff she just gave you guys to create videos or marketing materials to post to tell buyers to think about credit. Now's the time to start doing that stuff. Thank you, Brianna. All right, I've got to hustle because I run late the last handful of meetings, and Allie's watching me. She's like, go, Paul, go. So some end-of-year updates that I wanted to share with you guys. First and foremost, the 2026 sales meeting schedule is changing for the better. Everybody take a picture of this real quick. We are going back to every month at our DTC office. So every month it's going back to the same schedule, the second Wednesday of every month, 10 a.m. to 11:30. Oh, you don't like that, Julie? No, I'm calling you out on that.
Oh, you heard that?
No, just kidding. We're going to record these, but my whole thought is consistency. The more that we show up for you guys, the more motivated you get and the more you do out there in your business. So that's my commitment. That's our commitment to you. But I need you guys to show up, because if it's only 15 people, 10 people, I'm going to have to dial it back. But we're going to keep them fun, informative, lesson-based, and we might even do some raffles and stuff to keep things interesting. And it's just good to have it back at the office. So you can check your mail, stop in, see us in the office. So I'm really excited about that. These are booked and ready to go. Are you guys excited about that?
Yay.
No? Dang.
Yes.
I thought you'd be more excited.
Wednesday's way better.
Yeah? Okay. All right, well, we'll record them. Don't worry. Maybe we'll live stream them too. I'll work through that. So.
But that's okay.
All right. And then the other quick updates I've got for you. Contract changes video is on the way. So there's some 2026 contract changes. I'd say overall there's nothing crazy, but there are a handful of things that we need to address. So I always record the changes in video format so you guys can slowly watch and then go with the red lines. But I'll also talk about the major changes at the January sales meeting as well. So just know that's on its way. There's a great Dora class that's free. Has anybody done that? Dora sent out an email where you can walk through all the contract changes in a video format that works really, really well. So if you're in a hurry, those are available. And then Damian Cox, Scott Peterson, they're doing contract changes classes all the time as well. But I like to give you my overview of these are the things I want you guys to watch out for. So that's coming, probably December. Many of you have been asking about E&O insurance. So every November 27th, our policy expires. And we do have the new E&O insurance certificate available. There will be the certificate and detailed step-by-step instructions on how to upload that certificate to your Dora profile. That will be in our weekly update this coming Monday. So if anybody doesn't know about that, you just have to upload your E&O insurance to your Dora profile by January 31st. Otherwise, they say they're going to inactivate your license. I have yet to see that happen, but they want you to, every year, to log in and show that you have an updated E&O policy. And did you guys get my email in the weekly update? Don't buy E&O insurance. There's so many official postcards that go out that kind of scare you into thinking you have to buy E&O. We pay for your E&O as one of the benefits of equity, so don't buy any other policies if you see those pieces of mail. And then I quickly wanted to just mention Resure, the contracting software that's provided. Hey, look, guys, there's a turkey back there. Sorry, it's a little distracting. Yeah, don't be shy. It's hiding. He doesn't want us to see it.
One person only is wearing that.
Yeah, good
That's
call.
Mickey Sanders.
I bet you're right. There she goes. That's funny. Resure is actually pretty cool. Resure is the contracting software. I think in 6 months or so, Resure will probably replace CTM. That's a bold statement.
CTM's having all kinds of issues with
Yes.
email deliverability right now.
Total problems with CTM. And I think it's because they know Resure is making waves and they're trying to update their system, which as a result is causing problems. Big problems. We just had an agent, Wes Parsons, who submitted an inspection objection by the deadline. It didn't get received, and he's in a very challenging dispute right now, trying to make sure that that date is honored because he did submit it. So it's a pain. I'm not making any formal changes or anything like that. You'll see my note. Just check it out. You know, over the holidays, as things slow down, just play around with it. If you're a Smedger member, you get it for free. And it's really slick. There's some really cool things. And they're adding some features specifically for our equity office, like the print all PDF, where you can combine all of your files into a single PDF document to send to our compliance team. That's the only thing that's missing right now. And they're already, we'll add that for you right away. We want you guys over here. So play with it. CTM's not going anywhere, but I'm actually impressed, and I'll probably have them come to a sales meeting in February or March to just give us an overview of what that looks like. So,
Are you going to do the update class for 26?
I knew that question was coming. I'm thinking yes, but it's not confirmed. I'm working towards it. It's a lot of work. You know, back when Todd was doing it, it was Todd, Stacy, me. We had a big team. I'm trying to move things around. It's me and Allie, really, that are doing things with the help of Smedra. I'm close, but I haven't confirmed it. I couldn't confirm it at this meeting. Look for an email, though, in December or January, because if I do it, it'd probably be in February, like we used to do it. So I'm working on it. Yeah. Kara.
How does Resure kind of go with CTM? Are they talking? I mean, the competitors, they're not talking, but like are the systems talking, or is it
No, it works really, really well. So if you get an offer from CTM, you can upload it to Resure, and they have this integration that allows you to add signatures really easily. Your clients can add signatures easily once you get it into Resure, and then it pushes back to the CTM agent. And then
CTM?
Well, no, they would have to download it and upload it to Docs Management after everything's signed. And Michaela, our rep, she will sit down with you and walk you through that process. I was impressed after that call. Yeah, it's pretty slick. So that could save you $50 a month if you're a Smedger member, and it's $19 if you're not a Smedger member. All right, and then the last couple things for you guys. We talked about the live watch party for Bold Predictions. That's December 3rd. We'd love to see you. Make sure we RSVP so we can save you a spot. And then our annual holiday party. Has everybody RSVP'd? We need those RSVPs because I'm like, where is everybody? I'm kidding. But if you're thinking about coming, we'd love to see you there. It's so fun. And I know it's at a bowling alley. You don't have to bowl. I know that kind of freaks people out. Some people don't want to bowl. There's only 2 lanes, and use it as you need it. Otherwise, it's a giant lounge space with really great food. There's a bar for drinks. And then we've got ping pong tables, pool tables. It's a lot of fun. This is our 3rd year in a row now. We keep going back because it's such a nice place to host that event. Spouses or significant others are welcome. We have to keep it adults only just because there's alcohol and stuff being served. But go ahead and submit your RSVP to either me or Allie. We'd love to see you. It's fun to just enjoy time together without talking about heavy contract situations all the time.
You said yesterday we're having a competition in the bowling side.
Justin is organizing a bowling competition. So
Let's do it.
it's a lot of fun. Would love to see you guys there. And then congratulations to our certified full service professionals. I think there's a few of you here. If you guys would like to stand, I'd just like to give you a round of applause. Congratulations, Rocio, Justin, Greg. So we just wrapped up our CFSP course yesterday. It was awesome. That was such a good group. We'll be doing more of these, but I just wanted to give you a special shout out, guys. Good job. Yeah, of course. And some more special recognition. I can already see Allie's face turn red. Greg's putting out fires in the deal.
Oh, jeez. You're on the screen.
It's our last meeting of the year, and I just wanted to publicly acknowledge we're coming up on 2 years now since I took over as employment broker for Todd. I don't want to get emotional. What's with me this week? I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your support, and we've become a really tight-knit team, and I couldn't do this without you guys. So, yeah, Allie in the office, 10 to 2, she put this whole presentation together. She's running payroll. She's doing all these things so that you guys experience a really well-oiled machine. Thank you, Allie. You make this job fun, and it's just so fun to work with you, and I appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Greg, you guys have probably talked to Greg on the support line on the weekends. Greg, you've been in this company for so long, and all your support, I truly can't thank you enough. And I wouldn't want anybody else on that support line. You're doing such a great job. Yeah, thank you. So, round of applause. I was nervous, to be honest. I was nervous. What is this going to look like when Todd and Stacy dial back? You guys have made me feel supported, and I'm really, really proud of our team, proud of all of you and the people we have working for us. Todd and Stacy also just texted me this morning. They're going to be at the holiday party. So that is assuming they can make the drive without snow. It's starting to snow in some of those mountain passes. But they told me to tell you guys hi. And I still talk to them a couple times per week. They always tell me to say hi to you guys. So they'll be here. I'm excited for that. Thank you guys. All right, and last but not least, our Power Pros. So we've got September Power Pros and our October Power Pros. If you are a power professional, if you could please stand. We've got Brielle Nix, this is September, Caitlin Tran, Ernie Quemmel, Sandra Shaler, which, does anybody follow Sandra? She had a huge hip surgery. She's doing much better. She's actually coming to the Power Pro luncheon right after this. So I'll tell her you guys said hi, but send her some love because she's going through a tough recovery right now. Anna Navalani, Justin Savoy. Justin's here. Congrats, Justin. And I think your certificate, you might have picked that up at the office the other day. Okay, good. And then Tiffany Tynes, who will also be at the Power Pro luncheon. So congratulations to our September Power Pros. And then smaller list of Power Pros for October. We had, I think, 45 closings. But Power Pros, people who have closed 2 transactions or more in a single month. So our list was a little bit smaller. I actually pulled up, what did the market look like in 2019? Because Lawrence Yoon, Brian Buffini, they're all talking about our market right now is almost equivalent to what it was in 2019, and it's correcting after that 2020 surge of COVID craziness. That was kind of unnatural. Very similar lists from 2019 for our Power Pros and our closed transactions. And we're actually slightly up from where we were in 2019. So in my mind, that's a great indicator of where we're going with the predictions coming out with Lawrence Yoon. So like I said, stay after it because you guys are going to get busy, I think, in 2026. But I'm really excited. Kara Grenko, she's our most transactions and top sales agent. 3 transactions in October, 2.5 million in sales. Yeah, come on up. Congratulations. Yep. And I believe, Kara, we'll see you at the luncheon today, huh?
Yes.
What's your secret?
Well, I don't know.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's so cool. So we'll just grab a quick picture if you don't mind. And then Allie will just take it really quick.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Good job, Claire.
Okay. It was upside down.
Certificates. That's okay. I think I smiled funny then.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good job, Kara.
Thank you.
And then Caitlin Tran, a repeat. Yeah, she's juggling a lot right now. I don't want to share too much, but even with some hardship she's endured, she's still just crushing it. Reach out to Caitlin too, just to tell her you're thinking about her. Yeah. And then Casey Ophog out in Greeley, he closed 2 transactions as well. So congratulations, Power Pro. Give one more round of applause. All right, and look at that. We've got 5 minutes. I didn't hold you guys 15 minutes late. Any new or coming soon listings that you'd like to share? Bye, Ray. Have a good day. Any listings or buyer needs, anything you guys want to share that's coming up? We haven't had time to do this the last couple meetings. Maybe the problem is, no, I've got a listing and it's been on the market for 100 days. But any, yeah, you want to share one?
Yeah, coming soon is 11017 Temple Parker. Single family home, 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, very nice updates, low maintenance backyard. HOA is like $100 a month. Anyone wants to hold an open house is coming up the first weekend of December.
And what's your name again? Rocio Cantelli. For anybody who doesn't know Rocio.
I've got one. It's fairly new. It's been on the market like 10 days. It's a really cute townhouse, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath. Up near Buckley, so really close to DIA. It's got a 2.75 assumable rate. But I have spoken with the seller, and she's also open to subject to. So any investors out there would benefit from that or owner occupied. So if you have any investors in your pockets,
Save those text messages.
save the text messages. She is open to subject to.
A lot of them aren't licensed and you can represent them.
Yeah, the double. And that's actually who I sent those text messages out to the other day, that those 12 that this person's open subject to, and I am talking to some people. So.
That's great. Really good. Great.
Got one that'll be coming up around December 11th. It'll need some work. It's in Willow Creek. It'll be priced well. It's a patio home. It's one model is 2 bedrooms upstairs, and then there's a non-conforming bedroom in the basement. That's finished. It's going to need some work, but it'll be priced at $559.
That's a good price.
Pretty aggressive price for it. So I'll send it out when it won't be in the MLS coming soon until the end of the first week in December.
That's single family?
Single family. It's a patio home. So but it'll need some work. It needs some updating. Not terrible, but paint, windows, flooring, kitchen.
That's nothing right now. That's good. Thank you, Greg. And Justin, I think, and then we'll go. I think there's another one over there.
They're deciding right now, but it will probably be a Timbers of the Pinery, 20-year-old home on an acre, 6 bed, 5 bath on it, probably about 1.4, 1.5. So that could be coming up next month.
Nice. Another one, Kara?
I have another one, but it's not a listing. I have found the most amazing faux finisher that does the most incredible walls, accent walls. She does ceilings, she does murals, she does, I mean, you want a wall to look like velvet, she can do it. If you want a wall to look like marble or Holland to look marbleized, she does fireplaces, everything. So if you ever come across something, give me a shout. I'll probably post it in the Facebook page.
We love that.
For decorative finishes, walls, accent walls, whatever. But I'll post it and her information. Incredible.
That's great. We'll add her to the vendors page. Yeah. That'd be great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. What's her name?
Edwina.
Edwina?
Yeah.
Nice.
Manzanares.
I love it. Okay.
It's not, it's just this amazing, like, I'm telling you, she's done great home stuff, but she's actually fairly affordable compared to other faux designers. I've used her in I've referred her to a couple of my clients now, and they have all been very, very pleased.
That's great. So, good to know. Any others? We've got 3 minutes if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. No, that's perfect. No, I'm psyched to be done without holding you guys 15 minutes like I did the last 3 meetings. So, anything else you guys need while we're here?
Can we talk, I don't know if you saw my tagged you on Facebook post about showing time feature.
I don't know if I saw that.
Showing time, I forgot his name, that guy who is Chicago title, what's his name, you know him?
Jared Larkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He posted another day a post about showing time, giving a report, like if you have a listing in a certain area, you can run reports showing time, see other agent who is showing in that area. But I personally don't have access to that report, and he said you need to talk to your Paul. So
I
I'm talking
got
to
you.
my Paul.
Yeah. I know what he's talking about.
So I have access to it.
Do you?
Have access to
Yeah, it's, do you pay for a listing or you pay monthly?
what, on showing time?
Yeah.
I don't have subscription, I just have.
So I think it comes with a subscription, so I pay $10 a month on that.
I asked him and he said you need to talk to your brokerage, I think they deactivated something. That's what he said.
So yeah, we've never had that because that is an additional service that we would have to pay for all 270 of our agents. So we've never done that. But yes, my understanding is you can pay a monthly subscription fee for that same product. I can look into that again for us, but I would, because I know other people have mentioned that service before. So I would reach out to Showing Time to see if they can add that. You talk to Showing Time directly?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just decided to tag you so you
Yeah.
know more.
I'll look. Well, and with that said, I don't watch Facebook as closely as I probably should. So if you ever need me, call, text, email, because I'm sorry I didn't mean to leave you hanging like that.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into it.
I felt like it's a great feature, you know. Then,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
you
look
can
into
send
that.
all realtors saying, hey, look, you have a client in that area, you know.
If the cost isn't too crazy, is it worth increasing our monthly fees for you to have it? I'm kidding.
I don't know. I think.
Yeah, I'll take a look. If it's something we can do, I can chat with corporate and see if they can give that to us. We'll see, but I know other people are using it. I'd check with Showing Time to see if they can just add it for $10 a month if it's something that you want to use. Good question. Should I share the news about Ball Trail?
Maybe.
All right, guys. One more thing I'll share. Brace for impact because Bold Trail, our contract with Bold Trail is up in October of 2026.
So where are we going to?
Well, right now, Pro Agent, you guys still have Pro Agent websites, but that's something they're still determining on whether or not they're going to switch to another CRM. Pro Agent is there as the base. Our CEO, Tony Ketterling, has said for the agents who love Bold Trail and they're actually using it, they'll extend that contract. It just might be a discounted cost that you guys would have to pay out of pocket to continue using it. And what it all comes down to, the usage was very, very, very minimal. It's a little disappointing.
It kicks me out every time it unenrolls me every time I log out. I'm unenrolled again.
That might be a glitch of some kind. But
It is. It has to be.
so my personal, I'll just talk to you as my friends. No CRM is perfect. Every single one has problems. Bold Trail wasn't perfect. Pro Agents isn't perfect. Referral Maker isn't perfect. But I will be pressing Tony hard to say, if we're going to take Bold Trail away, we fought so hard to get you guys to use it, and many of you did, but still, out of like 260 agents, I think only 30 people maintain their accounts. And that's an expensive platform. So rather than pour money into that, that frees up some funds where we can invest in other things that you guys might use.
Yeah, the property blast.
Maybe it's Property Blast
The one
from
that I
Showing Time, or Property Blast,
Because
yeah.
we'll be using all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So they haven't made an official announcement, but you know me, I'm transparent and I want to admit this stuff to you as soon as we can. So October 2026. If you love Bold Trail, you can keep going with it, and hopefully they'll have a replacement CRM.
Why don't you guys go with Filmmaker?
Maybe we will.
Maybe pushes Buffini so much.
Yeah.
Maybe make an agreement on there.
Good suggestion. So there are other things they're working on, but we'll have an update as we get closer.
So, can I get in trouble with the?
I just found out.
My thought on that, Paul, is looking at Bold Trail. It kind of reminds me of, we can use Franklin planners.
Have a good day, everybody. Sorry.
We can use Franklin.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We can use Franklin planners as a way to schedule our dates, and then we can also go back and for wages.
Yeah.
It's like when we have more than one thing, you start having more than one thing, and it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. I think
I
that's
prefer to see it consolidated into a pro wage.
I think that's the reason a lot of people don't use it. Thanks, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.